My name's David Higgins. I started Fords in 1979 and I left in 2009.
I'm Graham Wing, and I worked there for 29 years, and my job role was just about everything.
I had a friend who already worked at Ford Motor Company, and his dad was a foreman, and he said come down to the plant and to see if you can get a job in there, and I did.
Right, I got an application form, filled it out, put all the qualifications down, what I could do and all this stuff, sent it in. A week or so later, I got a letter back saying, sorry, Mr. Wing, you've been turned down, right? So I thought, So I got in the motor, went down to Ford's, went up to personnel, went in, had a chat with him. He said, you really want to work here, don't you? Well, yeah, I do. Well, next thing I know, I got a letter saying I was accepted.
I remember my first day. We had to go in for an induction. A small little team were interviewing us, but not. You already got the job, but you weren't being interviewed for the job, but just to tell you what you're likely to expect. But as you got to know people and they got to know you, the atmosphere was quite good. It was quite friendly. My first job there was on B trim, fitting glove boxes to the Mark II Transit. And I've moved on, as you do when you're in there for a few years, and I ended up being a spare man, a relief man, a product coach, and my final position there was a weld repair man on the drag line.
I was working on the only side-moving commercial van line in the world, right? It's the only one they had. It was unique, right? And the vans would come across on a turntable, right, from the first line, come across, turn, and then this would be the back of the van, and they would go that way. You know, I used to go all over the plant, different stuff, driving vans, moving vans off the line. I went everywhere, yeah.
I think the man hours, one used to come off the line every 2.5 minutes, but that's not how long a van takes to build. The man hours, I think when we first started, was somewhere around about 20 man hours. But I think that ended up coming down to about 16 man hours with automation coming into the plant. Well, I think when it first came out, it was a proper van, whereas the previous vehicles were quite rubbish, couldn't carry a meter board, you know, they couldn't carry an 8x8 plasterboard. And the new van drove, that particular new van, and drove like a car. And I think it was a reasonable price, £6,000, I think. And I think when they first came in the 60s, I think they were around about £2,500. And I think they just literally, everyone wanted one. And the only competition was a Bedford. So, but the Ford just took off, and I think it looked good, and it was made in England. So I think that was just the success that it was, because it was a reasonable van, reliable, and did what it needed to do.
I'd had a mental thing. I collapsed on the line and the head shut down. I ended up in hospital. They thought I had a heart attack, but I hadn't. My brain switched off. And Ford's basically looked after me. They really did. I thought it'd be a good idea to go down to Nigel Mansell's golf academy, Devon somewhere, right? And get them to do team building. It was disaster from the word go. They've done the best, you know what I mean? They had a go. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed themselves all right. You know what I mean?
When we were on the line, we used to have these, and we used to cut them out, fold them up to make a toy, and then put them on the line for a gap. So these are quite rare now. There's very few of those left in the world. So there's a good bit of memorabilia from working at the plant. So I've got a Ford News here from 1991, December. And I've kept this because I'm actually in it. I mean, I play guitar, so I used to play guitar in a canteen sometimes and entertain the troops. A genuine original Transit badge. That would have been from the sort of late 60s to early 70s before they changed to plastic badges. I've owned nearly every Ford. I've owned Fiestas, Escorts, Capris, Focuses.
I've had Escorts, Granada Saloon, Granada Estate, How many? Trying to think of the other ones I've had. I've had them all somewhere along the line in the past. Oh yeah, I've had Corsair. That was an original. I wish I had some of them now. There were thousands, you know. Even the old Escorts, you know, they're premium.
And then we got another famous shirt that was designed by a child at one of the schools, and for the smiley face transit.
The genuine Ford jacket.
We were involved in various quality and trying to get various quality awards and reach certain goals in our production standard. And here we have the famous Q1 jacket. This is when we were going for a Q1 audit, and I've kept this one all pristine, never worn it. The first transit badge birthday, for its first birthday.
We went to the Rose Bowl. It was all expenses paid. Taxi picked us up from home. Went there. Good evening out, entertainment, cigars handed round, drinks. Yeah, we had a good time. And also, because it was 25 years, Ford gave us a catalogue and we could pick out a suitable prize from the catalogue. Yeah. Well, I picked out a brand new telly because ours was on the way out. So I got a new telly out of it, which was nice. That lasted us a few years. But as a presentation, I got this Ford travel clock. Loads of bits of paperwork with it because it shows you how to use it. I'll just put that down. And I'll put that down there. It's engraved, it's got Ford on it. And it's got engraved on there, GJ Wing, in appreciation of 25 years, long service, February 2004.
We stayed there 30 years, so that says it all really, that if you stayed there for 30 years, things were not too bad.
I wouldn't change the experience for all the tea in China. It was unique. You'd never do it again. It's never going to happen again. And I've got no regrets whatsoever. You know, we met a lot of nice people. Stuck it out for 29 years, so it couldn't have been that bad. Couldn't have been that bad, could it? Do you know what? I went to Mallorca for a holiday, right? And it's always said that wherever you go in the world, you're going to bump into a Fordie. I went to Mallorca for an holiday. Guess what I bumped into? A Fordie. And he was wearing, you know, the old white T-shirts with Ford, the blue oval. He was wearing one of those on the beach.